The Stream Key Podcast Friday edition. Today I'm really excited because we can finally have callers back on the show. It's actually phone-in Friday finally again. I'm really excited today to have Azumatt here with us in the studio for the first time. I think the first time doing this in the studio so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, because we just built the studio, so we can do a mixture now of in-person people as well as online. So Azumatt, how's it going today?
It's going good, man.
Good.
Woke up, coffee, breakfast. Good start to the day as opposed to normal.
Good. Do you not usually have good starts to the day?
No, usually it's skip breakfast and forget coffee at home even though I made it.
Oh, yikes. So. I've been there before.
So like today's a good day. You know?
That's good. And of course, so joining us online, we have Mr. Pure Instinct back with us. He's been on the show a couple times. MPI, how's it going, man?
Hey, it's going good. How are you guys?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on with us again. I know you were on like 2 weeks ago, but it's good to have you back again.
I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, for sure. And last but not least, I guess we got Velok here as well. Vel, how's it going, man?
It's going really well, man. How are you today?
Good, good. I think
Good
we're all
to hear,
good.
dude.
That's what I'm hearing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
It's great. Yeah, sorry.
Starting out strong
no.
here, guys. It's
Yeah.
going to be great.
Cool.
It's going to be a great
Great.
show. So, for those of you just joining us who haven't seen this before, this is a Twitch news show / call-in show. So the first couple minutes, we'll do a rundown of all the changes that we saw on Twitch over the last week or so with updates. And then from then on out, it's going to be caller and viewer questions. So you can chat in the Twitch chat, ask questions related to streaming, and tag us. We'll answer them. And now, finally, you can call into the show. So if you guys want to, you can join our Discord, and we'll pull you in. So you're on this screen with us here, just like Vel and MPI, with or without video, up to you. But you can ask your question in audio, and then we'll talk through it with you, which is great because you can give us more context on, following up with your question or different details. So really hope you can do that. I'll go ahead and post the link in the chat really quickly, which is right there. You just join that Discord server, and just there's a chat in there called callers or caller requests. Just type in that chat, let us know you want to be on the show, and we'll get you queued up to be on it. So I hope it makes sense. I'll explain that again in a couple minutes once we get through the news. But first of all, we should run through some of the news. There was actually a lot this week, a lot of small things from Twitch. First thing we saw, which again was like right after last week's show, they announced Black History Month for February, which is pretty cool. There was a little bit of controversy with that because it's Twitch, so there's always controversy. But basically, they're featuring black partners on the front page of Twitch. And of course, when they announced it on Twitter, there was some different opinions on that, and not just from non-black people, but from black people too. Did you guys have a chance to look into that at all over the past week?
Looked into it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the whole stuff? I'm gonna link the tweet in the chat for people who want to check it out really quickly. But what do you guys think about all that?
People are freaking out.
Yeah.
They're just like, why would they do that?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
To be honest, like the whole situation, obviously. But
Right. Absolutely. Vel, what are you thinking?
People are overreacting quite a bit. I saw some pretty crazy responses, and like, I don't know, just mind your own business, man.
Yeah.
Like, you just need to just worry about yourself, dude. It's all good.
Oh,
People are freaking
anytime
out.
you bring race into it, it gets really messy. But
It's
I was
so
just kind of
crazy.
shocked by even people who, like, black partners who were like, I'm not on this list. Why are they on this list? And like, man, they can't put every partner on the front page. Like, give them a chance here, right? MPI, what do you think about the whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I agree with Vel. Like, just mind your own business, man. Like, I don't feel like that's affecting you in any way. So
Right.
why are you throwing a hissy fit about it? And like one of the responses I saw said, "It's like, why don't you focus on people creating good content?" And I was like, well, how do you know? First of all, how do you know those streamers aren't making fantastic content? And second of all, if that's a big deal to you, up your content, buddy, because clearly it's not there.
Yeah,
You might think
absolutely.
it's great, but it doesn't seem like it is.
They're only picking partners with terrible content.
Yeah,
so-
they looked at it and went, I hate
Terrible
that guy.
content,
Put him on the
like,
front
that's-
page.
Yeah,
Terrible content month. Let's do it.
it's for the publicity.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Oh, man.
That was just a small thing that kind of came out. And then we had, I think, 5 or so small little things that were all changes to Twitch they announced over the past week. So I'll go through these kind of quickly, and then we'll kind of do an overview of what you guys think are the biggest highlights maybe. So first thing is we talked about last week, but cumulative subs are finally here. So you will actually get a notification of how long you've been subbed to a channel. It says it in the chat now. I saw a couple in our channel earlier. So that just means basically if you take a month off of your sub or can't continue it for some reason, it'll still count that continual perk. And they added a lot of stuff in the actual interface too, which is cool. So now instead of saying subscribe, if you're already a subscriber, it'll say resub, resubscribe, and it'll tell you kind of how close you are to the next badge. There's a lot of cool little improvements there. So that's officially out. Also, there are delays and or errors on 1099 forms for taxes, which kind of talked a little bit about yesterday with the CPA. But yeah, basically, if you guys have gotten a 1099, don't use it until you get your next one. And if you haven't gotten a 1099, Twitch is working on it. So that's kind of annoying for people that want to get their taxes out of the way because you're kind of waiting for Twitch. But that's a little thing that they announced. Third, really small, but dashboard widgets can now be popped out, which is kind of cool, I guess. I haven't really used it yet. I don't know if you guys have. Fourth, Twitch. So this is just an email they put out. You guys might have seen recently people like Ninja or Tim streaming football games on their channels, and lots of other support for just restreaming in general. I guess Twitch is making a big push this year for that type of stuff because they sent out an email to everybody saying you guys should try out co-streaming, which is just basically restreaming events and adding commentary. And I guess they're trying to get more licensing and things for that over the year, which is pretty cool to see. And last thing, in the real quick lightning round here, partners can now update their emote prefix once every 2 months, which I actually don't know what the time period was for that before 2 months, but I guess it's an update in speed now, so that's kind of nice. So of all the stuff we just talked about there, what do you guys think are sort of the highlights of changes they made this year? Anything kind of stand out to you that you think you'll use or is concerning to you maybe?
Restreaming is pretty big.
Cumulative subs, that's Matt?
Yeah, I really, really think that now with the new user interface, especially with the new resubscribe button on people that might have canceled the subscription, you can actually see like how long you were subscribed and how close you are to the next badge, and I think that'll kind of encourage more people to maybe resubscribe when they might have an extra $5-6 laying around, whatever. I don't know why I said $6, but
if you're on mobile,
right, in some places, but you go there, you resubscribe, whatever. I think it's more of an incentive to be like, oh well, I'm really close. Let me go ahead and get the next badge. And you can also be like, well, I'm really close to a year. I subscribed for 11 months, whatever, and they'll click the button. So I think it's something different, new.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice because you have like more built-in things on Twitch to support that, right? That's really cool. Velok, what were you saying before? Kind of had same time answer there.
Sorry.
Yeah, restreaming, I think that'll be very cool. Like if I'm able to stream football games, I would be very happy to do that for sure.
Yeah?
That'd be a lot of fun.
Do it?
Absolutely. That'd be amazing. I would have so much fun doing that.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cool stuff too because they mentioned in the email like the Crunchyroll Awards, which is anime stuff. It's something else I can't remember, but I guess a lot of different types of content, which would be kind of cool to see. MPI, what do you think about that? All the stuff we just kind of shot off real fast there. Anything stick out?
Yeah, I like the restreaming too. I think being able to do football games would be great. In my personal Discord, we actually have a channel dedicated to football because we have a lot of football fans. So every time there's games on, we talk about what's happening in the game and what we think is going to happen and all kinds of stuff in there. So being able to actually watch the game on stream and talk to them about it would be awesome. And then I know E3 is another really big one that people do. They'll restream that and then they'll have their live reaction to like trailers or game announcements and stuff like that. I think is really cool too. I like the cumulative stuff, just like Azumatt said, that it might get someone, say, hey, you were a month away from the 1 year badge. You just had a yard sale and have $5 extra. Go ahead and resub, get it. But the one thing I didn't like was how they pushed it out. I thought it was weird.
The resub stuff?
So yeah, because it was, even if you were already subscribed, you could almost reshare that you're subbed. And a lot of people were kind of confused. They're saying, wait, I just subscribed like a week ago. Did I sub again? What's happening? We had a little bit of confusion of that. And like, for me, every time somebody subs, I eat a Bean Boozle bean. So then I was having to go through my chat bot and be like, wait, did you actually sub? Or is this the thing that Twitch did? So I like the idea. I think they should have just said, okay, next time you have your subscription up and you can share it, then you get to share the new one. I think that would have made more sense.
Yeah, I saw a clip from one of the Twitch weeklies where they were talking about like this feature was coming, and I guess it was the only way they could do it for some reason. They were kind of joking about it, that the tech people were like, you know, this has to happen. There's no getting around it. So people will be able to re-trigger the notifications. So I guess I think in the long run it'll still be a good thing to have. So if it was the only way it could happen, then it's kind of worth it, I would say.
Do you think it was
Oh,
because
yeah.
of the deadline?
What deadline?
Well, they said like we're gonna have it out by a certain day. I believe it was like January 31st. So maybe because they didn't want to do the delay, then the developers were just kind of like, we're gonna step away from it. Like this is how it's gonna happen. It's not gonna break anything really.
Right.
So that's probably why they kind of just swept it under and was like, just deal with it.
Maybe. This feels weird in my head. I have no idea, to be honest. I would like the feature once it's there. So.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good feature, and it's not that big of a deal, but it was just kind of like you had to make a tweet about it. So it was a big enough deal that you had to tweet and tell people, hey, by the way, this is going to happen.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
But if there was a deadline, that would make sense. Maybe they couldn't figure out how to get around it.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Cool. Well, that was most of the Twitch news that I saw this week. Is there anything big that I missed that you guys saw? Social medias, blog posts, whatever.
Mod tools.
We talked about last week, but yeah, that is a new feature that still people are playing around with.
I apologize.
Yeah, if you guys missed that, basically Twitch launched new mod tools, which kind of makes it easier for teams to collaborate as mods. So you can leave notes on users and see their message history. That's a great change that I think is really going to help build out
I like it.
mod abilities. Yeah, for sure.
Azumatt, before we started, did you say that you've used the pop-out widgets?
Yes. I use the live, like being able to update your title and everything to actually pop that out. It's more or less it's kind of like pop-out chat, but it's a new little thing that can sit off to the side, and take up more screen space. That's the only downside, but it's easier than reopening a web page or getting a moderator to update it when I can just kind of alt tab real fast and type and update.
Right.
So I mean, if you keep it to a minimum and you don't like take out what you don't need,
right?
For instance, like your live feed with like the viewers and your subscribers and your followers and stuff on that. If you don't pop that out, like I don't feel like you need that. But for like a stream update or the pop out chat, like I know some people use it. Chat's always been able to be popped out, but like for the other widgets and features, like that's the one that I've used so far. I haven't used anything else, but it's helped me just because I can quickly update it.
That's nice. Yeah.
Versus like opening up a web page or getting a moderator to change it for me.
Right. I think I would use the stream markers function probably. I think stream markers is kind of underused by people. A lot of people don't even know what that is. You guys know what stream markers is, how that works?
Yeah. I just don't understand why you wouldn't use well, for some people, but I'm saying like if you own a Stream Deck, it's easier just to click the button.
Yeah, you could do it that way too. That I don't have a Stream Deck, so I don't have that option. But stream markers, popping that out, having a nice little button to just mark down something important happened at this point in the stream would be nice to have if you don't have a Stream Deck.
Right.
So I can see that. Okay, cool. So let's get into the viewer and caller stuff now. So again, guys, I'll kind of re-explain this. You can call into the show or just submit your questions via chat, and we'll discuss your take or topic or question here as a panel. So if you can't get to a microphone or webcam, but you're still watching the show, you still interact, just tag @TRUgaming in the chat with your question. It could be about anything at all. I mean, something that we talked about here that's a new piece of news, or if you're having struggle with your own stream, maybe you want to do a rebrand, maybe you don't know who to collaborate with or how to play with viewers, just let us know your question. We'll talk through it. If you want to now, you can actually call in, which is really big, and we hope that you guys will do that. I'll post a link right now in the Discord, sorry, in the chat to the Discord. If you join that Discord server, there's a channel in there called caller requests. So type in that chat, you say, I want to come on the show. We will get you hooked up to come on here and be on the screen with us if you want to. You don't have to use video if you don't want to, and just do audio, that's fine too. But that way you can be on the show with us and do that kind of thing. So I think I do see one person who is in the voice chat. So you can also join the voice chat. We'll get you set up to jump in the show as well. Really quickly, is there anything you guys want to mention? I'm gonna get a caller going really quickly, but
Apex.
Apex. Okay, yeah, chat about that
Just
real
coming
quick.
out of nowhere like that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like Apex came in and ruined everything. Like Fortnite, like if I was working at Epic, I'd be freaking out right now. I'd be freaking out. Like Apex is coming and like everybody's streaming it. I don't know
Wraith
about
is
you guys.
best character. Don't at me. I fully think it's got to be Wraith or Caustic. Like everybody else is cool and all, but being able to literally blind people with poison is pretty dope. And
Right.
I like teleporting, so that's me.
Right. Twinkie Talks just talked about how Fortnite is having a 20% creator V-Bucks incentive. So they've actually increased their incentive for creator V-Bucks. And I think that's part of them kind of panicking a little bit.
Absolutely. That's really cool to see that they're kind of pushing that. I still think that's sort of, if they keep doing that with games on the Epic Store, that'll be the thing to set them apart from things like Steam and Origin and whatever else comes out. I think having that creator support will make creators want to push those platforms more anyway. So that's a great way to grow if you're a new platform like that.
Right.
Absolutely. Cool. So we have someone in the Discord who wants to join, which is Friendly Neighborhood Vlad. Wants to join on the show. So I'm going to see. So we're doing it a little bit differently this way, guys, from before. You'll have to accept my friend request because you'll actually join the Discord video call this time. So that's an attempt to do everything through Discord. I think we do have Vlad ready to go. So we're going to add him on in 1 second here. As soon as we're good to go in the production room. Maybe.
But they're paying people to play.
Ready? Gonna have Vlad on the show to ask his question in just a second here. All right, here we go. Add him to the call now. Hello, Vlad. You there?
Holy moly! Hello, everybody.
How's it going, man?
Pretty fantastic. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Well.
What's up, Vlad?
Good.
What do you want to chat about on the show today?
So I was wondering. Oh, there I am. Fantastic. So I was wondering, when it comes to building hype for a giveaway, what do you guys recommend?
Okay, awesome question. Anybody want to start with this one first?
Are you doing a specific like special stream for it or anything, or is it just a giveaway on like any kind of random stream?
Yeah, it's a special giveaway for Vlad hoodies, and it's also a reveal of a super suit.
Okay. So I think the main thing is hyping up your actual stream on that specific day, and then also talking about how there is a giveaway. Like you don't want to just say that there's a giveaway. Like you want to try to hype it up as much as possible for the people that are already following you, so that they'll definitely show up. And then for any new viewers, I think hyping up the actual stream itself is a bigger priority than just the giveaway.
Awesome, fantastic.
For sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, MPI. Sorry.
I definitely agree with you, Vel, that hyping up the stream is more important than hyping up that giveaway, especially for your current community. So if you have a Discord, make sure that it's, you're reminding them in there. Make sure you're reminding them during your other streams, so that way you don't just have someone come in only for the giveaway, say thanks, bye, and then you'll never see them again.
All right. Makes sense.
So I think that way you also are more likely to reward someone who comes to your stream, every day or regularly at least, instead of, like I said, just random guy who says, I want a free hoodie.
True. I like it.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I particularly do in mine is I use my loyalty points. In my channel, it's called Galleons, but I use those, and I kind of tell people about a giveaway ahead of time. That way, like, not necessarily Joe Schmo last minute comes in and donates. Like, I have the ability where you donate money to the channel and it actually pays you back in loyalty points. But there is a cap on it, very similar to what you guys do. But letting people know kind of ahead of time, getting your regular viewers on the hype train, getting them kind of expecting it, not necessarily for the giveaway, but kind of, I don't know, make it one big community stream, kind of hype that up, and then do the giveaway in the middle of it. That way only your viewers know about it. And I tend to keep things off of social media until the day of. That way, when the day of, I get the Joe Schmoes, not somebody who stops by because they see giveaway in the title, or because they saw giveaway on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. That way, like, I'm actually allowing my viewers to stock up the points
Mhm.
way ahead of time before Joe Schmo comes in and, let's say they donate, $50, whatever, they get X amount of galleons, and it puts them kind of ahead of somebody who just tuned in for that day. That way my viewers will already potentially have more than that if they were tuning in for the entire week or the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, to give no matter what my consistent viewers an advantage. So that's something that you can do, but again, I wouldn't try to hype the actual giveaway. I would try to hype like a big community stream or like a big stream in general.
Yeah, there's two pieces there. I mean, hyping a giveaway in itself is one thing, and then getting people to stick around after and really be involved in the community is another. So if you're just looking to make your giveaway as big as possible, like that actually is valid, I think, just to get eyes on the stream and get hype going. I mean, these guys mentioned a lot of good ways. Using point systems can be kind of a cool way to do it, but just blasting social media as much as you possibly can. Timing does help, and like Azumatt said, like giving you some time to kind of hype it up in advance, or even just make graphics and things helps a lot. We do a lot of giveaways on this channel, and using even like paid advertising. I can't talk right now. Paid advertising is really good for giveaways because that's a really good incentive for people to come into the stream and check it out. Where sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out, like, okay, I want to do ads on Facebook or whatever, but I don't know what to do that ad with, right? A giveaway is a really easy thing to do. Okay, come get this free thing. That's really simple to do, and people will come in that way. But like I said, getting people to stick around in the community is a whole other piece. And so maybe that is where you do a point system, like Azumatt said, to reward loyalty, or maybe you have other things planned after the giveaway that you advertise during the giveaway. So, okay, for all you guys here right now, make sure you come back like a week later for this other thing I'm doing. If you liked this one, you'll like this next thing that's coming. So a couple pieces there. Does that kind of all make sense, Vlad? Any other questions there?
It makes perfect sense. I liked what you guys did on the stream for the computer giveaway, and I like his suggestion for the points as well. So with my loyal base I have already, I think that's going to work out pretty well.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Any last thoughts, or is that about it?
No, that's it. I appreciate it, guys.
Cool, man. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thanks for being our first caller in this new setup.
Have a good one.
Vlad.
See you, Vlad.
See you, man. All right, guys. Give us a sec to get the screen set back up. And yeah, so that's how the callers work. Can we thank Vlad for coming on the show, being our first guest, maybe?
Thank you, Vlad.
Yay,
A big golf clap, maybe? There we go.
You can do the yay me clap too.
Yeah, you can do that.
Or he should have done it. Vlad should have done it.
If you guys want to come on the show like that, remember, join the Discord. Let us know you're interested, and we'll get you hooked up to come on the show, be a caller. If you want to do that, but you don't want your video on the screen or to share it, you can just do audio too. That's totally fine. We'll discuss it that way. I saw a couple questions in the chat that were just text chat, I think from Becca. So Becca said, while scrolling through Twitter last night, I saw a post from Summit about how 24-hour streams are dead and that they should fade with old Twitch. What are your guys' feelings / opinions towards that mindset or opinion? So what do you guys think about 24-hour streams? Are they dead, or what do you think in general?
I mean, they're not dead, but they probably should be. Because it's not healthy to be sitting there for 24 hours. And like, I understand, like, you can get up and walk around every couple of hours or so, but it's really, I felt like crap after my first one. And like, I'm willing to do them for my community just because I know that they like them, but it's like one of those things that's like, man, I really wish this wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? Really wish it just wasn't even an option. But
fair enough. MPI Azumatt, have you guys done 24-hour streams before at all?
Yes.
Okay. So what's your experience with them?
My experience is I didn't make it through the full 24 hours. I think I got like 22 hours in. My back was absolutely killing me. Coffee at that point was still not enough to keep me awake. I was like, guys, I'm crashing so hard. Like, coffee's not offsetting it. Like, and it was very fun. Like, I had a lot of experiences. I'll be honest. Like, 24-hour streams kind of bring in a different type of people. And I say that in a good sense because like you get people from potentially all around the world or whatever, but also like a lot of people come in with lurks. A lot of people come in with hosts and raids and stuff, and they stick for like that whole 24 hours unless they rip it away from you because, you know, maybe they go live or something. But honestly, I thought it was extremely hard to do. And it's very difficult to work that into a potentially everyday schedule because, like, you know, you got to think about food. You got to think about eating and maintaining yourself and getting up and taking breaks and whatever. And like, I legit ignored my fiance for 24 hours straight. And the backlash lasted much longer than 24 hours. She was like, I can't believe that you did something like this. I can't believe that you ignored me for 24 hours straight. She's like, think about your kids. And I was like, I don't have kids. She's like, think about the dogs. That's what I mean. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'm thinking about them. I'm sorry. But like, they use their loyalty points to redeem it. It's kind of like not necessarily a culture, but like a thing on Twitch. So like I did it, and that's part of the reason why I haven't really done one since, because I want to kind of limit it to maybe like a longer stream, like an 8-hour, maybe a 12-hour, because that's a little bit easier. So I do agree with Velik, like it should kind of be a thing of the past, but I do think that longer streams are still definitely viable and alive.
Sure, absolutely. MPI, have you done 24-hour stream before?
I haven't done a 24-hour, but I've done a 12-hour that turned into about a 17 or 18-hour stream.
Yikes!
It was, we were just having fun, and it just kept going, and I was like, I don't want to stop, so we just kept doing it. But I've done another 12-hour stream before that for a charity stream, and I don't know that they should necessarily go away, but I think they are really good for charity streams or for celebrations. So let's say, you know, you hit like 1,000 followers. That would be, I guess, a reason someone could do one. But I wouldn't just say like, it's the third Friday of the month, we're doing a 24-hour stream. But I think, like Azumatt said, like, you have to think about eating. You have to think about drinking water. You have to remember that, hey, I need to get up and walk around. I need to exercise a little bit, or I might have to take the dogs out. I have kids. But I also think anyone who's tuning into a 24-hour stream understands all that. Like, you're still a human being. You still have to eat and, you know, survive and everything. So I think, I don't know that they shouldn't necessarily go away, but I think you should plan for it really well. And if you have either a team of some kind or someone to help you with it, it's really helpful. Like for me, when I did my 12-hour streams, the charity stream we did the first time, I had a friend who actually was in town and ran everything behind the scenes for me. So like if stream title needed to be updated, he helped with that. If we needed to do anything, he helped with it. We had a big event for it. And then the other one that I did, my girlfriend and I lived together. So, you know, she was like, I'm getting lunch. What do you want? And just brought me lunch. She was like, it's dinner time. What do you want for dinner? So she was like making sure that I ate, making sure that I drank water and everything. So I think if you have someone that can help you with that, then it is a lot easier.
Right.
I know not everyone has a friend that can help them or a partner that can help them or a partner who wants to help them. They might be annoyed by it. So I think it's kind of up in the air. It's all dependent on the person, but I don't think that it should necessarily go completely away.
Yeah, for sure. I think having a team definitely helps with that. The question of like whether they're dead is interesting, because I do agree with kind of what Velox said. I feel like everybody kind of feels pressure to do one at some point. Like you got to do one, but really, I don't think, like looking back, so for Azumatt and Velox, your 24-hour streams, were they kind of like turning points in your stream, or were they just kind of like another stream for you?
Definitely turning points.
Definitely turning points?
I made a lot of I solidified a lot of relationships on that with a lot of friends. It was just cool to see the people that came out and supported. It was not a normal stream at all. It was I had like 4 people stay up with me the entire time. It was crazy. Did
that like create lasting effects after that stream that you still see today?
I think so for sure. I mean, having like knowing that you have people like that will stay up and like help you out and like play games with you all night. Because if I would have done a single player game the entire time, I would have died at like hour 12.
Oh yeah.
Like I would have just been sad and I would have died of sadness. But like having those people, like the last 2 or 3 hours was the most rough, and like that's when like having those people there meant the most. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it kind of shows the support that you have for sure.
Right, absolutely. Okay, that's not what I expected to hear, but I understand that. Azumatt, looking back at your stream, was it like a game changer for you that created a lot of difference?
For me, it didn't create like a whole lot of difference, but it did, as similar to what Bellic said, it did solidify a lot of friendships because like it really showed who was actually there for you. For most of it, I know you guys might know Lily Harmony or Harmony Eternal. They were there for the entire 24-hour stream for me.
Wow.
They played Conan. It was back when Conan Exiles was like a really big thing. We were doing all the charity streams with Conan Exiles and stuff. Is roughly when I did mine, and they stayed whole time, voice chat, talking, keeping me up, whatever. Kind of hyping up the stream, welcoming everybody coming in, and it was super supportive to have that person there. And you know, a couple others stayed for most of the time, but that really, really stood out. And still to this day, Harmony still comes back to my streams. So, and it's just kind of turned into something that went a little bit past
Right.
Twitch.
So what I'm hearing from both you and Velok is that there are big streams for you, almost like in a mentality sense, and like knowing that you have that super loyal community with you. But would you say that they like what I'm getting toward here is basically I don't think they're really good for growth, which is why a lot of people do them, right? Like I'll do a 24-hour stream and that's how I'll make it. Like suddenly all the viewers will come if I do that, right?
Right.
Do you think that was the case during your 24-hour streams?
It definitely doesn't help you grow at all. And like you need to make sure going into a 24-hour that you're not going to get too much like growth out of it, or maybe not even any growth out of it. If you're doing a 24-hour, make sure it's for a good reason, like just celebrating your community. Like if your community wants you to do something and they've been super supportive, kind of give them, you know, an incentive or whatever, like kind of like pay them back with a 24-hour if that's what they want. That's kind of what I did. I wasn't expecting to grow out of it or make anything out of it. It was just like a thank you, basically.
Right. Absolutely. Would you agree, Azumatt? Kind of the same
Fully.
thing? Okay.
Fully.
See, that I think it kind of makes more sense when you look at Summit's statement then, because again, I still see even today people using, man, I'm gonna do the 24-hour stream soon. It's all gonna be different, and then they do it, and especially like if you try to do a 24-hour stream when you don't have a viewership, that's really rough because like you guys both mentioned, all three of you mentioned having people there with you to support you the whole time, right? But if you're just starting out and you're trying to use a 24-hour stream as a way to grow a community, and no one's there backing you up to play with you all night or support you or whatever, that's a crusher, I think. So I would agree in a sense, not that they're dead, but that people use them for the wrong reasons on Twitch. I think it's just kind of like any other event stream. Like you just have to know why you're doing it and have realistic expectations going into it, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would also think don't dive headfirst into a 24-hour stream. If you want to do marathon streams, start smaller and work your way up. It's like training for an actual marathon. You don't get up and run a 5K for, you know, it's the first time you've ever ran. Make your way there. Do a few. If you've never done 8 hours, do 8 hours, and then do 12, and then maybe do 16, and then work your way to 24. Kind of gradually get there. Don't just go, I'm doing a 24-hour stream right now. What's the longest stream you've ever done? 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, Val, you kind of did that too, right? Like working up to the 24-hour.
Yeah, I did a 12-hour first, and the 12-hour was really good practice because I worked 12 hours beforehand. So that was rough.
There you go.
Yeah, that sucked. Don't do that.
Was that different feeling, working for 12 hours and then turning around and
6 hours into the stream, I had to take a 6 hours into the stream during the 12-hour after working all day. I had to take a shower to wake myself up because I was just like dead. I was, man, that was even harder, I think, than the 24-hour stream.
Wow.
I bet.
Well, great question. I think that was from Becca, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Great point there. And some good discussion for sure. So I see a question from Lone Dog. Before we get to that really quickly, guys, calls are open. So if you want to join, now is a great time. I'll drop that link. I'm just keep dropping it until we get some callers here. You just hop in the Discord. You can either chat in any of the text chats or join a voice chat, and that'll let us know that you want to come on the show. So that's that. Lone Dog's question, though, is an Apex-related question, so you guys will be excited for this, I'm sure. Do you think Apex Legends has the ability to pull away from Fortnite for being something other than not Fortnite? I.e., is it worth the hype to stream or should Fortnite streamers just stick with Fortnite? This is really interesting because I know Vel's like in this exact situation, and you guys probably dabble in Fortnite. Everybody kind of dabbles in Fortnite to some degree. So I'll start with Vel then. What do you think about this, going through it yourself?
It depends on how big your stream is right now. Like if you're just starting out streaming and you have like less than 5 viewers, do not stream Apex. It is so flooded right now. It is insane. Like you have to scroll for hours. It's nuts, dude. Even like to get to my channel, I'm not like a big streamer at all. I know that. Like I'm at like maybe 20 to 30. And like you have to scroll a ways to get to me. So if you're down there, like stick with Fortnite for right now. I think Apex will lose its hype in a week or two, maybe a little bit more. Just wait it out, keep doing Fortnite, especially while the directory's thin.
Gotcha. Azumatt, MPI, have you guys dabbled in Apex yet, or are you kind of okay? Azumatt has. What's your experience been so far?
Definitely not a game to stream to grow if that's what you're looking for. It's more of like a game to kind of enjoy yourself, have fun, and maybe play with some viewers. It's not really, in my opinion, at the moment, unless you're like a big name streamer, it is not something that I recommend streaming unless you already have some kind of base community that you have set up that's going to tune in and watch you play it. But it's definitely not something, as Velik said, to grow, because you are going to be very close to the bottom of the list just because it's so flooded. It's a great game, hands down. It's, in my opinion, much better than Fortnite, but you know, it's probably because I just can't build a wall to save my life. I always mess up, hit the wrong button, or do something stupid. So Apex to me is a little bit easier to play. It kind of reminds me of like old Call of Duty days with the gunplay and stuff, and
the
also
teleporting, of course.
Yeah, and it's just, in my opinion, it's easier. But growing, no, I wouldn't recommend streaming it. Stick where you're at.
Okay. MPI, do you play Fortnite or Apex? I'm not totally sure.
No.
Okay. So
I've tried Fortnite and I just didn't get into it. I've watched some people playing Apex, and if I was going to play a battle royale game, I think Apex is a lot more my speed because it is a more shooter-based game. Where Fortnite, you have all the building and I just don't like it. I don't like the game.
right.
But I've watched people play Apex, and it does look more like a game I'd like. But I think if you're a Fortnite streamer, why would we switch over to Apex if you're looking for growth right now? I think exactly like the other two said, you've got all the big guys jumping over to Apex. So then now this is going to be your chance to say, well, I'm going to stick with Fortnite, and the people who are specifically Fortnite fans, not Battle Royale fans, and that's where my growth is going to be, is with those people going, well, crap, Ninja's not streaming Fortnite. Oh, neither are the other 20 people right behind him. Now we've got all these new people that can, maybe be the up-and-coming guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. It's kind of like reverse logic, right? If all the hype goes over to Apex for a bit, actually it's smarter to stream Fortnite because now that one's got more capability for you to be at the top of the directory. So that's a good point. And actually, so I want to throw this back to Vel because, Vel, you just said it's not good to grow if you're streaming Apex, but I know that you're still streaming Apex, knowing that. So because you enjoy the game a lot, correct?
Oh, I love the game so much.
So
I love it.
So let's talk about that though, because I think people are probably in that situation too, where like maybe they know they shouldn't stream Apex, but they just love it a lot, and it's not like the best for growth, but they just enjoy it so much. So what would you say, or kind of what's your experience there, loving it so much, knowing it's not the best for growth, but still committing to it?
Okay, so if you're going to stream Apex and you don't have a huge community, you need to make sure that because you will get people who come in and check out the channel. If you're lower on the directory, it'll be much more few and far between. But the thing is converting those people to be actual viewers and give you more than 5 seconds before they move on to another person. So you can't just be the person just playing Apex. You have to be the person that's energetically playing Apex and energetically talking with chat. And you need to make sure your moderators are on point while you're playing it. Like everything needs to be on point while you're doing it.
Right. You have to work that much harder to kind of make yourself stand out, right?
Absolutely. Because you will get people to come in, but if you're just like everybody else, they're not going to see any difference in you and they're going to move on to somebody else.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it's the same that happens in any other directory, right? Like
Mhm.
how Fortnite has been up till this week, essentially.
Right, right.
Yeah. Azumatt, do you stream any of these at all, or have you thought about streaming Apex through this process?
I've streamed Apex, I believe twice now.
Okay.
Just because I do like 4 streams a week, so it's I've streamed it twice. It's a good game, but for me, it's not necessarily something that battle royales is not something that I really play on my channel.
Sure.
So I'm playing it purely for the fun aspect, and I'm streaming it just because like usually when I stream is the time that I have to play games. So it kind of goes, in tandem with each other. So, but I've streamed it mainly because I find the game fun.
Right.
And I get to meet some of my viewers or whatever, or some other people that enjoy playing it, and that's purely what it's for, in my opinion, for me at least.
Gotcha. Yeah, so kind of similar though, like you're really enjoying the game, and I just think it's important that we mention that even if on paper Apex is not the best game to stream and you're wasting your time with the growth, but like if you enjoy the game, it's still worth considering playing it and finding a way to make it work despite that adversity. I think that's just important to mention. Okay, great. Another question. We got a couple more in chat. Callers are wide open. Actually, we have Twinkie Talks ready to come on the show. So let me add Twinkie Talks as a friend really quickly. Twink, if you can accept my friend request, we'll get you on the show here. Just Twinkie Talks, TT. It's a good name. As soon as we get Twinkie to accept the friend request.
Mimal says the bucket's bothering her.
The bucket, okay. All right, just add Twinkie. Add into the call now. Okay. Hello? Oh wait, still calling. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hi. Am I good on audio?
I think so. A little quiet on our end. I don't know if everybody can hear you all right.
I'm good.
If
I
it's
think
quiet,
I'm
I
okay.
can't do anything. I thought I was okay. Never mind.
It sounds
Um,
okay. I think you're good.
Yeah.
But thanks for
So
calling in.
yeah, no worries. I've wanted to do this for a while, but I'm just
Awesome.
never around. Thing is, so you know how everybody says that if you want to grow, you got to do stuff off of Twitch. So like I started going and doing YouTube videos. I started like writing for a website and everything. Thing is that for YouTube it's easy. You can just go like, okay, go follow me on Twitch. But if you're doing other stuff like writing somewhere or I don't know, you're posting art on Instagram or something, how do you like link that and like redirect people to your Twitch or to whatever place you want to redirect them?
Yeah, good questions. I think YouTube's like the most common, but Instagram and writing blog in particular is, I'd say, pretty rare for people. I don't know a lot of bloggers that also stream. But so have any of you guys had this process, maybe starting with Instagram, trying to connect people from Instagram over to Twitch? Do you guys use Instagram a lot?
Here lately, I've been dabbling a little bit more with it, but if they want to say something, have you guys messed with Instagram?
I've veered away from it recently. I've been more on Twitter.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I've used it, but kind of the same. I don't use it as much as I should. I think it's just because it's more work to post on it because you have to have a photo or a video. Where Twitter,
Yeah.
I type some characters, I search a GIF function, and I put a GIF in, I post it.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. That's part of it is that since these are less popular methods, it's hard to know what to do with them because there's no like formula. You kind of have to get creative with it. I would say personally, so we do kind of use Instagram a lot to push people to Twitch. So a couple good ways to do it. One is you'll see a lot of the biggest streamers just repurpose clips on their Instagram and just use the hashtags to kind of get some attention on them. That's a great way to start. And then in terms of pushing people to your Twitch account, you have the option to include one link in your Instagram bio. So that should be your Twitch link. And then what you can do is reference that in all your other posts. So if you post a clip of Fortnite or something, you say, go check out the link in my bio to watch the stream. Or, if one thing I'll do a lot for my own stream as well is I do a story on Instagram. And what you would do is, record whatever you're going to do, your little setup or your stream or something. And then you put the text on there that says, I'm live now till whenever. Check out the link in my bio to come watch. And sometimes I'll even like draw an arrow to the bio thing so that people go click there. But that's the best way I've found to move people there. Actually, if you get over 10,000 followers on Instagram, which is probably not realistic for most people listening, you do have the option of adding a swipe up feature on your stories, so that's really nice down the line. As far as blog posts go, that's a little tricky. What you can do with blog posts is embed your stream. So, if you write a lot of stuff on Medium or like your own blog, you can just embed your stream on there, which would be a good feature. One thing I'll see a lot of is like guides. So I look at guide sites for games like League of Legends. A lot of those let you actually embed your Twitch feed into the guide. And sometimes you'll see people that have these really big viewer numbers, and they've just embedded their Twitch link in every guide they've written on these guide sites. And it's actually a really good way to get people to move over to Twitch who might not usually watch it. So that would be kind of my recommendation for those two. Twinkie, I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit more specifically about like what kind of content you're making, what kind of issues you're having with pushing people over, maybe.
Well, for the writing stuff, I kind of got with a website that like I was already writing stuff on my own, but so a website contacted me to write like opinion video game stuff for them. So I'm kind of writing for a website in opinionated stuff, but at the end, like they do put like the author is also on Twitter and Twitch and all over, but you can't really link somebody that way. So that's the issue I had mainly. For YouTube, it was fine. I've been able to do YouTube.
Right. So with the blog posts, do they not allow you to link things when you're writing those posts?
I guess I could ask for the embed thing. I haven't really tried that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple ways you could do it. I mean, I would say the best is actually embedding the player or a clip directly on the site so they can literally watch it there. But if you can't do that and you can just do a hyperlink, that's probably a good way to do it too, is at the end of the article, hey, check me out on Twitter, Twitch. You can click the links and go to the page. That's pretty easy to do. It might be a good way to kind of get started there, I think. Does that make sense?
All right. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, anything else to add?
Not really, I guess. If I have something, I'll jump back in.
Okay, Azumatt has one
well,
comment.
it's technically a two-part thing. So even if you don't get permission for them to, like for you to embed your Twitch player or a clip or something like that, if you get permission, use Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, screenshot your blog posts, and then use that as like, hey, I write, articles for this, and I do this, and like push like the article, but then on whatever platform you're sharing it to, then go ahead and link your Twitch. That way, not only are they going to your blog post, but then they're also trying to go to your Twitch as well. And the second portion is with Instagram. If you go live with a story and everything, you can actually add it as a highlight. So it'll give you more of like clickable options. So you can specify like if certain content creators do this, that way they can link their Twitch at all times, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a link in their bio. And without like the swipe up and all that stuff, but it puts it in the bottom as tiny little highlight bubbles. So you can put logos or whatever. That way, when people see it on your highlights, it'll say like Twitch or YouTube or whatever, and when they click it, usually it'll link them to the story, which will have like your LinkedIn stuff in it. So it's just a way to kind of add that in there without actually putting it in your bio.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff with Instagram too. Like you can take pictures of your blog post and put them into just posts, or put a bunch of them chopped together into a story that could live on your profile. There's some cool ways you could repurpose that for sure. So hopefully it gives you some ideas to start working on that. And if you have more questions, don't be afraid to come back on or just reach out to us. We can help out with that.
All right, no worries. Thank you again. Yeah, totally.
Cool. Thank you for calling in, man. Appreciate that. Good to have you on the show.
Bye.
Bye.
Great question. All right, let's get back into a couple of the chat questions we have here. Oh, I just want to mention, if you guys call in, you do get priority over the text questions. That's an old rule we're bringing back. So
everybody's saying that you're throwing out gang signs with
like, yeah. I just held my hands. I'm very emphatic. Okay, we saw the Apex question. So Dax had a question. Dax Truth said, how important is your stream card, which I assume means capture card, internal versus external, and what is a good suggestion? So do you guys use capture cards with your content right now? Maybe Azumatt, starting with you.
I use it for PlayStation and Xbox.
Okay.
But it's the only capture card I have. I don't have an internal card or anything like that. For now, it works for me. The way I have my setup is like my main monitor switches between what's what my PlayStation is displaying versus like what my PC is displaying.
Sure.
But the capture card in particular, you can go you don't need something like super fancy off, you know, the like just getting something fancy in general is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to. Mine is just the regular HD60. It's not
Elgato.
the it's not the HD60S Elgato or any like internal, you know, 4K ultra like capture card or anything like that. The benefit to actually having it though, in my experience, is like particularly streaming on PlayStation. When you back out and go to your menus, and you're scrolling through your games or you're changing settings, they can actually see all of that. So it's not like they're missing any kind of content. So not necessarily that you might want them to see that, because I mean PlayStation does it slightly for security reasons.
So what would be your recommendation for someone just looking for their first capture card in general?
Elgato HD60.
Gotcha.
In personal opinion, because it also comes with its own particular software, like streaming software and capture
Right.
software and stuff like that. That
Cool.
comes with it straight out of the box, and it's super easy installation. 2 HDMI's and a potential an audio jack on it as well, in case you need it. But other than that, that's what my recommendation is. They probably have something completely different.
I don't know. So MPI, what would your recommendation be?
So I have an HD60 as well, and I use it with both my gaming PC and then the consoles. And just like Azumatt said, I have a switcher between my main monitor displaying console or what's happening on my PC. The only thing I don't like about the 60 is it has a little bit of a delay.
Mhm.
So if you're playing like a horror game or something, you might jump and get scared and react to something before it happens in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think between that, you can get, if I remember right, the HD60S doesn't have that delay. So you could spend just a little bit more money to avoid that delay, and it would be fine. I had the HD60 because I've had it for a long time before anything else existed, and I haven't felt a real need to buy a new one because, I mean, it works. And like Azumatt said, it's easy to use. The only thing is it bothers me with the delay, but it may not bother everyone. I'm just very particular about things like that.
Mhm.
Uh, and I think you know your budget better than we do, and you know your knowledge of PCs and everything like that better than we do. I think if you can do an internal card and get better performance, why not go for it if it's in the budget? But if it's not in the budget or you're not comfortable installing things inside of your PC, I would definitely go with one of the externals like the HD60S.
Right. Yeah. I think Elgato stuff in general is really good.
Mhm.
And I like
Mhm.
I like all three of what you guys just mentioned. Veloc, do you use a capture card for anything? Rarely.
I
maybe?
do.
Okay.
The occasional PlayStation game. Whenever I get my streaming PC up and running, I'll use it to attach my gaming PC to my streaming PC. And with the delay thing that you were talking about, MPI, there's a way you can fix that actually. You can just add a delay to your microphone and to your camera, and
I
that
had a
should
problem with that. I did that, and then
really.
my microphone would get out of sync with my webcam every single time.
Mm,
Never failed.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So don't listen to
So,
me.
well, you're right. And it could have been an issue with slobs at the time. It could have been an issue with my microphone, the webcam. There's anything it could have been. But
Right.
I wouldn't, if you don't already have the capture card, I wouldn't
Mhm.
bank on that. If you already
Right.
have the capture card, work on it and
Mhm.
see if you can figure it out. But if you're buying one, I would just avoid it if you can.
Yeah,
fair.
absolutely.
But you're right, because that's what I did. I was like, "Oh, this will work great," and then every stream, like an hour in, they would be out of sync, and I was like, "I don't care anymore." Over it.
Gotcha. So overall, Elgato, I think sounds like you all agree on is the way to go.
Mhm.
And then either the 60, the 60S, or the internal, depending on where your budget's at in those three. Is that
Mhm.
about right?
Yeah.
Cool. Good question. Dax, hopefully helps you out, man. One question I saw from Spartan BL, it's kind of a quick one. So what is better, one big giveaway or many small giveaways? Your thoughts on this, Azumatt?
He's probably asking that question because later today I'm actually having to ship out like probably 20 boxes worth of
Oh,
small
really?
like little things.
Oh wow.
Because I ended up having a bunch of like just like I was giving away like marble canvases and stuff that I had laying around my house because I was like, oh, I'm gonna hang these up. I got a man cave now. I got all, and then I didn't realize that my family was gonna buy me stuff too, and then whatever. So I ended up with like just stuff laying around, and I was like, well, it's been a while. I haven't used it. I haven't hung them up. I haven't done anything. So I did, in my opinion, like small giveaways is better because it kind of incentivizes people. It's a little bit more budget friendly. The only time I would do like big giveaways is if there's been a lot of support in your channel, you're trying to do some kind of celebration. But small giveaways kind of gives a little bit back to your community, and kind of keeps them a little bit more engaged and interactive. And again, it is budget friendly, so it's something that you can plan for a little bit easier, depending on what you consider to be a small giveaway. But I gave away like just a bunch of canvases and like mouse mats and stuff like that I had laying around, and and I gave them like little notebooks and pins and whatever. And with each one, I'm going to be sending like a little personalized card.
Oh, nice.
So it's a little bit more personable in that fashion. So you can use like your extra money on the smaller giveaway, and having that shipped out and whatnot. And sending them, like a thank you for your support for the past week. And it's more kind of, how do I say it? It's more live in a sense, in my opinion. So it's less of a one big thing and you hype it up and whatever. It's more like on the spot, like, hey, I kind of got this laying around, or I've got like an extra $20. Let's do a stream key giveaway or whatever. And you just kind of give it back to those that happen to be there. So it's a little bit more incentive in my opinion, but that's my choice.
Yeah, for sure. Small giveaways are nice because you can really disperse them more throughout the community and more people win something.
Right.
So that's nice. MPI, what are your thoughts on small versus large giveaways?
I mean, I think it depends on why you're doing the giveaway. If it's a big celebration of anything with the channel, or a big celebration of like your personal life that you want to share with your community, it might be good to do like a bigger thing that day. Maybe lead up to it for a month and use your loyalty points like you do Azumatt, something like that. I think if you're doing charity stream or 12-hour stream, long stream, I think smaller giveaways throughout it would be better, because it'll keep people engaged and it'll keep people in the stream. So like, let's say you're giving away Steam keys for every $100 raised for a charity, and you give away a random Steam key. People are going to keep staying and keep donating to the charity to try to get entered in those. Where if you say, okay, well, if we're going to make it through the 12-hour stream, we're going to raise money for charity, and at the end of it, I'm giving away a capture card. People are going to show up at the end and try to win the capture card, or they may not stay as engaged into it. And you're only going to give it to one person rather than a bunch of people throughout the whole day.
Right. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Val, what do you think, man?
I agree with what MPI was saying, and also one thing I like to do if you're just trying to do a giveaway for the people that are supporting you, don't even mention a giveaway at all. The most recent one that I did was I was just streaming. It was a regular thing. Didn't tell anybody about it. And then 2 times in the middle of the stream, I just gave away a couple. Like Steam keys or something like that. Just something real small, real low key. That way, I knew it was people that were only there just because they wanted to just show up and hang out, and they weren't just there for a giveaway.
Awesome. Yeah, those are really good points there. We do a mix of this with True. I think you guys mostly see the big giveaways. I think big giveaways are really good, kind of like we talked about earlier with Vlad, about like bringing people into the stream and getting their eyes on the stream. And then smaller giveaways are a cooler way to, but it's not one or the other, but smaller giveaways in general are a good way to reward people who have been there a lot or might not be there when there's some huge ticket item, but are there every day supporting you. Because you don't have to advertise as much, but there's still a cool way to reward your community. So that makes a lot of sense for sure. Chuckling about something over there?
I just read that thing in chat. They're messing with you hardcore.
Okay.
They said take a shot every time the general throws a gang symbol.
My arms are on these armrests, right, so it's like can't put them down here. They're always going to be up here.
Yeah, I apologize. I can't hide it. So. It's freaking funny.
All right, well, I think Vlad wants to come back on the show, so let's grab him back on for another question. Remember, guys, you get the priority if you're a caller, so we're going to get Vlad in here really quick. Hello? Vlad? There? Perhaps?
There I am. I'm back
Hey,
again. I changed the
back.
room for you guys. It's cool.
Yeah. How's it going?
Pretty good. I was wondering, you guys mentioned it briefly, talking about the 24-hour stream is having the support of your significant other or partner. And I was wondering, how did you guys introduce the idea of streaming and Twitch and all that to your significant other or partner?
That's a great question.
Good question.
I think we may have touched on it like once or twice before.
Right.
This is a tough one, man. Anyone want to start this one off? Who's had experience maybe of going through that process?
Do they know you play video games anyway?
Yes.
So just tell them, like, honestly, the way that I broke it to Sam, I was like, hey, I play video games all the time anyway. And maybe I'll make a couple bucks, but either way, I'm playing video games, so I'm going to do this. But I got to do this. And she was just like, okay, cool. And that was it. I'm really lucky to have a super supportive significant other, though. But just let them know that, like, might as well try to go for something if you're going to be playing the video games regardless. You know what I mean? Instead of just sitting there on the couch, not doing anything, try to be productive about it.
Yep, absolutely
Okay.
agree. This one's tricky. I don't. You're never really going to be able to convince certain people that it's worth it, and I don't think that you should have to. Like even people that are close to you, like that's just a part of the process because it's something that's so new, and a lot of people just don't go into that world at all, and they don't really understand it. Like it's not really your responsibility to educate them. I would say, like at some point, you're always going to have someone who doesn't like it or hates it, whether it's the person that you're living with or someone watching you or somebody. So I think that's just like hard truth people have to go through at some point. And like you can try and get people to understand it. Maybe if they're close to you over time, you can show them. You know, I mean, you hear all these stories about like the 1% of people who, well, my mom always hated me playing video games, but now I'm a millionaire and making video games, and she understands now. Like, but that's harder when you're not in that 1%. So I just think, I don't know. Have you guys been through this process yourself, maybe MPI and Azumatt, or you deal with this yourselves too?
For me, yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I did something slightly different than Belly, but kind of a similar approach, I suppose. Instead of saying like, hey, I play games all the time and now I might make an extra buck or whatever and I'm just going to stream it, boom. I was more like, well, I'm already loud at night, you know, got my headphones on. I was like, I play the games, I talk, I make friends, you know, whatever. Like I chat with people anyway. I was like, so I'm going to add something a little bit extra to that. And she was like, okay, what do you mean? I was like, well, I'm going to get a camera. I'm going to stream, and those people that I'm talking to and whatever in Discord while playing a game or you know on PlayStation or whatever, they can now watch me and interact with me in a chatting sense via voice or actual like text chat. I was like, so not really much has changed. It's just there's going to be a little bit of perks that go along with it, which is, you know, possibly making a buck or making more friends. But there's also little things that I would have to, you know, do as a Twitch streamer that is a little bit extra, you know, like giveaways, 24-hour streams, 12-hour streams, you know, potentially, you know, being here, stuff like that you wouldn't necessarily experience or have just sitting at your home playing a PS4 game or, you know, playing a PC game or whatever. So I was like, it's cool opportunities and it's something fun. And I was like, so what do you think of that? And she was like, well, that's a lot, but it sounds good, you know, like do what you want to do, what makes you happy, and I'll support you. But then there's also a flip side of the coin where, you know, 24-hour stream happens and she's like, no, think about dogs, think about like me, think whatever. And that is like a thing that you also have to kind of incorporate, because it is a different mentality that you kind of have to really, you know, Velik is, as he said, he's very, very lucky to have somebody super supportive, and you need to have somebody and spend just as much time with them as you are going to do with the stream. So no matter how much they understand and love you and whatever, there is also like you've got to put them first as well.
The cat walking across the screen.
But like you also got to put them first as well too. So different.
Gotcha.
That
That's a
was
great
awesome.
insight.
Loved it.
MPI, what are your kind of thoughts on? I know you mentioned you're a very supportive person as well, but what do you think about? I'm sure you had to convince certain people what you're doing is worth it, or you deal with that process at least.
Yeah. I think it kind of got gradually, slowly introduced to my significant other, because before we were even dating and together, I had, a setup in my apartment, the room in my apartment I lived in, with cameras and all kinds of stuff, making videos. So it was like, you know, she came to the apartment and it was like, I make videos on the internet. She's like, okay, cool, whatever. And it was just kind of like, she's kind of seen it change and grow over time with what I've done. And then is now, someone who comes and plays games on stream with us. So I think that was a little bit on the different side, but like my family now all the time, they're like, so what you're saying is you play video games on the internet and people pay you? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I don't get it. What do you mean? How do you make money? And I'm like, I just do. Like, so I like you said, there's a lot of people all the time. They're gonna be like, why do you do this? What's the point? Why is it worth it? And I'm like, why does anybody do anything? They like it.
Right,
Like
absolutely.
why do you watch sports? You like sports. Why do you grill so much? You like grilling. It's what do you enjoy? It's your hobby or just something that you like. So I don't know that you should have to necessarily convince someone that you should be doing it, more just that they should understand that you're passionate about it and you care for it, and that you're gonna do it.
Right,
Like
absolutely.
if it's unhealthy, I understand, but if it's like I'm playing video games on the internet because I love video games and I love making content, then that person go, cool, that's the thing for you. That's what you do.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, and you'll always run into people who you're going to have to try to explain that to, or who don't get it. And you'll find people who you just can't convince either. So I think knowing that is important. Also, kind of like Azumatt said, because I think this question pertains a lot of time to like a significant other, the person closest to you who's not supportive. I think it's important to understand both sides of that too, because on the one hand you can say like, oh, well, he or she should support me doing the thing I love and it's my dream, so they should support me. But then if that's all you're doing all day and you're not giving them any attention, like make sure you're not just using that as an excuse to play games all day when really you're not doing anything and sacrificing time with them for it. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. But all really good points from all you guys. I think everybody deals with this at some point on Twitch, and whether you're making YouTube, even more popular sites like this, the same thing happens. So it's just part of the process, doing a new type of business and social media type stuff for sure.
Even your cat can feel some type of way if you leave him alone for too long, Yeah. So like the fiance has like a brain, so she's, and I mean a bigger brain in a sense, but like you got to keep him happy, Otherwise,
Absolutely.
next time he walks across the screen, he might just scratch Vlad in the face.
Yeah.
Just be like,
Can't
screw
have
you, man.
that.
Awesome. Well, Vlad, any other last thoughts or anything?
I've come across the issue before. The best thing I've used, I've done it. I've had both my mama and my wife on stream before, so they kind of understand what all happens. But of course, I can't do that with everybody. But the wife is still somewhat hesitant, but she understands it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely like these guys said, a gradual process too. It's not going to happen overnight. So having time for that and being patient is part of it for sure.
For sure. Well, I appreciate it.
Cool. Yeah, and we might see you again. Who knows? Just keep calling in. All right, man, thanks for coming on.
See you, Vlad.
Appreciate it.
See you.
See you. Awesome call. I'll be honest, I can't tell if the accent is real or if it's part of like his act. I actually don't know.
I hope it's real.
His
Oh
name
my
is
God,
Vlad, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. If it's an act, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll say if it's not
It's
real,
better than
then
my
you
Russian
did a
accent.
good job.
That's awesome. All right, well, we got some more chat questions I'll hop into really quickly here. Gotta scroll up a bit. Okay, so a question that I saw next was from Chevrolet. Said, I've seen recently some communities being extremely toxic to other streamers in a specific game directory, with the streamer saying they can't control them. How much would you say that the streamer running the community is responsible for that, whether that be building it or maintaining it in a certain way? So if you have really toxic viewers in your community, are you responsible for that as the streamer? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Val, you start.
Get them out of there. Ban them. I don't care. Like, there's no room for toxicity in someone's community. Unless, like, that's your thing. Like, we're all going to be just complete a-holes to each other. It'll go great. Like, if that's your thing, do whatever. I don't care. But, like, if someone's going to be an a-hole in chat, I ban them. I don't care. I get rid of them.
Gotcha.
I don't care if they're going to bring me 30 viewers or 100 or anything. It's not worth it.
Yeah, that's a huge
Mhm.
thing we talk about a lot too. Is like you
Mhm.
can't let the one person ruin chat for everybody else just because they're another number on that viewer stat. For
And
sure.
the only question I have is this in reference to like hosts and raids and like bringing it into another person's community. Is that more or less what the question was?
Yeah, I guess actually it is. So basically, the communities are extremely toxic towards other streamers in a game directory. So yeah, it is directed at someone else. Like maybe your community
Okay.
is very rude to another community. So is that on you or is that on them when they're going to a different place to do it?
I believe it's on you if you brought them there.
Okay, so if you
Mhm.
initiated the raid or the host or
Yeah.
something, yeah, or you introduce the person to them. Yeah.
It's kind of like bringing a friend to a party and that person, you know, straight up just gets trashed and destroys your house. You know, like it's on you. You brought the guy there, so I mean
true.
that it's a thing.
Right, and that person is still probably in your community, right? At the end of the day, so
Right.
if you do like that kind of thing, they probably shouldn't be in your community.
And it's also a reflection on you and what you allow as well. So
MPI, any thoughts on this as well?
I mean, I agree with both sides here. Chevrolet cleared it up in chat, said in general, but raids too. In general, yes, you're definitely responsible for it. You're the one created the community. It's your community. And like Vel said, if somebody's going to be a jerk, just ban them. Sometimes too, like I have mods that are very good about telling people like, hey, you're kind of being a jerk, so you can cool it or you can get out. And like they are very good about telling people that. And a lot of times some people say, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean offense, or like I didn't know that joke wouldn't land here, kind of thing. And if you know, if that's the end of it, then cool, say no harm, no foul, you made a mistake, it's fine. But if someone's constantly coming in and being toxic, yeah, just get rid of them. Bring them into a raid, you're going to know that person's toxic. So if you're taking that and shoving it onto someone else's channel, you know that they're going to go over there and be the same way.
Right,
So
absolutely.
it's 100% on the person creating the community. And I think if it's, I don't know, I guess like two people that are like weirdly feuding on the internet because that's things people do, and their community is going over to be a jerk to this other person, and that person tells the first person that, hey, your people are being jerks to me, they need to make some kind of announcement or a statement to them, be like, hey guys, like shut up, quit it. There's no reason for what you're doing. So I don't know the full story of what exactly is happening there, but I could see that being a thing that people do on the internet because it's the internet. So I think the basis of it is whoever is in charge of that community, if you created it, you're responsible for it.
Right, absolutely. You got to take some initiative to control that, basically.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me, so I posted a clip in the StreamKey Discord where Soda Poppin did basically like an on-stream AMA. Soda Poppin being one of the biggest Twitch streamers on Twitch, for those of you who might not know him. And one of the things he talked about was that, so Asmongold, who is another huge streamer in World of Warcraft, I guess he used to not ban anybody in his chat. Like that was his thing. He just like whatever, he would let it all fly. And then he realized over time he had like actual really hateful people in the chat. So like, that just doesn't work. If you're trying to be that guy who, you know, whatever, people can come in and go, I'll just let it happen. It's not my responsibility. Yeah, but sometimes it's going to affect you anyway, even if you try and do that. So, and if it didn't work for like the biggest people on Twitch, you should probably be looking into that too. So just something I want to bring up. If you want to watch that clip, it is in the Discord. It was really interesting. So good question, though. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit. And if you have follow-up questions for us, Shav, let us know, man. All right, so next question I saw, scrolling down a bit here, was Spartan BL, who said, what do you guys think about a streamer using their pet as a mascot of their channel? Very specific question. Have you guys seen anyone do this on Twitch?
I did that.
Okay, MPI. Explain.
I mean, I have like extra, like there's another chair and things beside my desk, and my cat would come lay in it every single day. And then she would just walk onto my lap and on the desk and just kind of get up in the face of everything. So I was like, why don't I just set up a camera? So I set up a camera where she just laid and slept. She slept there for the whole 8 hours I streamed every day and didn't do anything. People loved it. All my sub badges are cat paws because of it, and we have this emote because of the cats now.
So yeah, I was gonna ask. I guess
people loved it.
You kind of consider it your mascot in a sense, like part of your brand now. Huh. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
every time, like anytime a cat walks in here, I look down at one of them, and if I look down like this, everyone in the stream knows that there's a cat walking by my feet, and they're like, "Show us the cat. We want the cat more than you."
Get the real talent on the screen right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Vel, Azumatt, have you guys thought about doing this or seen people do this in a different way maybe?
There's only one person I've seen do it. You may or may not be familiar with the name, but it's ATC Guardian. The dog is a mascot. They said they did exactly what MPI did. Put up a camera just of the dog laying there sleeping, whatever. Most of their emotes is now like the dog waving, you know, and various other things. But that's the only person that I've really seen do it, and it does work. But it is something that you kind of have to, in my opinion, you have to have. Like my dogs tend to leave me alone when I stream. Except for there's one that if I've streamed for too long or it's like ready for bed, you know, I'm supposed to end at 2 a.m. But then, like, you know, if I'm up at 3 a.m., my dog comes in, jumps in my lap, gets all in my face, and it's like, dude, it's time to go to bed. And that's what happens, and that's like a thing. So people are like, okay, well, you need to sign off now. Like you need to go to bed. Like that's a thing. So I mean, it can definitely become a thing on the channel, and I think that there's obviously profit in capitalizing on it.
Yeah, I think it's cool because it's tied into exploring more about you, right? And showing the stream more about your personal life, which I think can be uncomfortable, but it's also one of the cool things about streaming is you can really connect people that way if you kind of let them into your life a little bit. So a pet's kind of an easy way to do that, I think, that people, I mean, everyone loves pets, so you can never go wrong there, for sure. I've seen a lot of cat cams and dog cams and things. So yeah, to answer your question though, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Spartan. And a lot of people do it successfully, like MPI. Okay, moving down here is a comment from Dax. That is not a question. Is this a question? Yeah, okay, so this is an actual question from Dax. Can you guys talk about your pitching process to vendors or potential partnerships? Do you guys use templates or even try that route? Me and my wife run an Instagram page and I've learned how to pitch to potential partnerships. How successful have you been? So basically, do you guys have a process for approaching sponsors or partners or people you want to work with for doing some sort of brand deal? Have you guys been through that process yet?
Not really.
Not really.
Not too much? Okay, MPI maybe? No?
I haven't really been through it with like a partner or like a sponsorship. The closest I've ever done it is for like game keys.
Okay, gotcha. Well, so maybe talking through it though a little bit. If I'm sure you all have brands you would love to work with or something, or maybe you know something that's a little bit more realistic, that maybe a coffee brand or something for Veloc's case, or a tech brand or something. What do you guys think the best process would be to go about that if you want to try like you're coming to the sponsor to make a deal as opposed to them coming to you?
It depends on the company, I guess. Because like when I tried to talk to I tried to get something going with Black Rifle Coffee, and like their whole thing's like they're just over the top on everything. Like if they're one thing, they're loud. Like they're super aggressive with like who they are. And so I sent them an email just talking about like basically how crazy like energetic my stream is and everything. Like it wasn't professional to in a certain degree, I guess, but it wasn't like your typical like I have this many viewers or whatever. Like it was like I'm a super energetic this and this, and like I just tried to kind of make everything ridiculous because that's the way I feel like my stream is sometimes. Like I feel like we just get a little loud and a little crazy, and I just try to replicate that in email form.
Gotcha. Okay. MPI Azumatt, what do you guys think about this process?
I think if you're going to email a company that you want to work with for a sponsorship, for gear, for anything at all, you have to be able to bring what you can bring to them. Because you know that company doesn't get only one email a day saying, "Hey, sponsor me." There's a lot of people saying, "Hey, you know, you should sponsor me." But then they don't say, "This is what I can bring to the table," or why I would be a good fit for your company. I think what Veli did there, that's a good idea. You know, being over the top like they are, and they'll go, "We're over the top. He's over the top. Okay, there's a good chance we can make something work here." But I think if you just go, "Hey, I have 5 average viewers on Twitch. Send me a T-shirt. I'll wear it." They're just gonna ignore your email. So you have to be able to really tell them what you can bring to the table and why you stand above the rest.
Right. You're giving me PTSD flashbacks now from like the sponsored apps that we get.
If you sponsor
if you
me,
haven't
I will
seen
start
them,
streaming.
yeah, we have like a little hidden chat in our Discord of outtakes basically from sponsorships where people send us messages that just have 0% of ever leading to anything. It's pretty funny if you want to go check them out. But yeah, I want to mention on this point because Velok made me think of something. Events, conferences are really, really good for this type of thing because you don't have to go through text and an email and just be this 2D thing that you're trying to communicate with. You can just walk up to somebody and introduce yourself, really communicate who you are as a brand person. I'm sure you guys have been to conferences before. Have you done this at conferences maybe? Tried to make connections with other brands? And have you felt like you could get something out of that maybe?
I tried at TwitchCon.
Okay.
Because it was just a great opportunity with all of the businesses being there, like coffee companies. G Fuel was there. 1337 energy drinks and stuff were there. It's definitely a different approach, especially if you're going to do it in person versus an email. But it does at places like TwitchCon and similar to what Veli said, like they're always going to be receiving those emails, from various people. Like at one point, like I tried to get sponsored by Kool-Aid for whatever reason because I was like, I love Kool-Aid. So
I remember that.
Like I added Kool-Aid on Twitter because I don't remember exactly how the situation happened, but like Kool-Aid ended up responding via email, which was surprising. They went through like to my Twitter and responded via email, but they basically were like, at this time, we are not doing this. So I was like, well, that sucks, But it was like something happened on stream, and somebody was like, dude, you should try to like reach out to Kool-Aid, get sponsored. So I basically added them, and I was like, hey, Kool-Aid, so where are we at with sponsorships right now? Like, you guys looking to try? And like they legit just responded an email, and they were so like plain. At this time, we're not looking into this.
I was surprised they didn't use email, to be honest.
It was funny. But like a lot of companies now, they have like the affiliate programs and stuff on their websites and whatnot. So honestly, as MPI said, come at them with what you can bring to the table versus what somebody else can bring, and that way they can kind of pick and choose who they want to actually represent their brand. That's probably the best approach.
Yeah, and that reminds me, actually, I think we talked about on this show before the idea of just going ahead and promoting a brand and then like showing them what you're doing with them. That can be a cool way to do it. I always look back at like Dr. Disrespect with the singing the Gillette ads and the Folgers stuff, and like that just makes it really easy to sponsor people like that. If hey, here's what I'm doing with your brand, people love it. We can take it to the next level if you want to work together. That's a pretty cool idea too. So, good question though. So, Dax, don't really have a template for you, but hopefully that was still helpful. Instagram is not exactly the same as Twitch, but I'm sure it's got a lot of overlap. Next question is from Twinkie Talks again. It says, do you guys think one could stream on both Mixer and Twitch, but stream different genres? So, for example, someone may be really known for survival games on Twitch, but they also want to dabble in BR, which is less saturated on Mixer, and don't necessarily have an audience for it on Twitch. So basically, do you guys think you could grow, I don't know about two brands, but two genres on different platforms simultaneously? Do you think that's viable?
It's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about like all the amount of spreading yourself too thin or trying to split yourself.
You don't want to half-ass two things.
Yeah, exactly.
You always want to go 100% into one.
Whole ass.
Yep, one
whole. Both cheeks, dude. Crack and all. Everything.
I totally agree. And actually, one of my backup topics for today is to talk about Restream, because I've seen a lot of divisiveness about Restream lately. I just don't think, in general, you should ever do Restream, and this is very similar to Restream in my opinion. Like maybe you're not doing it at exactly the same time, but you're kind of doing the same content type on two platforms, which again, like Vel said, like why split it? Why not just go full after one thing instead of halfway on two things at the same time? So I would agree with that. MPI, any thoughts on this one quickly?
Yeah, I think you're going to spread yourself too thin doing that. I don't think it's a bad thing to dabble in both Twitch and Mixer to see if you like one more than the other. But I wouldn't say like Mixer is my BR platform and Twitch is my survival platform, because
Yeah.
you're you're starting to kind of weave weirdly there. Someone's gonna go, okay, well, what day is it? It's Wednesday. Is he gonna play a BR game on Mixer? Is he gonna be on Twitch? I don't know where we're gonna be at in case I want to watch both. I
Yeah.
think if you're wanting to just see which platform is better, I would try both on each platform and then stick with a platform for a while. But
Right.
I think
yeah.
splitting the games is going to get a little too much.
Right. I mean, if you just want to have fun, you can definitely dabble in both and sure make two genres. But like if you're looking really to grow as most effectively as you can, that's probably not the way to do it. So
Yeah.
hopefully it makes sense. Good question though. I haven't really heard that specific one before. Okay, so basically, Twinkie Talks had a follow-up question to our last one. So instead of working with brands, working with developers, have you guys tried to work with developers on? I know you mentioned game keys and things before, but what kind of experience? So MPI, you have had a little experience. What's that been like?
So I went through direct email for companies, and then I've used sites like Terminals and Keymailer, different things like that. The biggest thing that I've always done is I don't just try to say wildly, send me any game key, I just want to play it. I always find games that I enjoy and games that my community enjoy. So games similar to like Dead by Daylight, there's starting to be more and more of those coming out. Horror games, I love horror games. So as soon as I see one of those, that's when I'll try to see if I can work with a developer on that. But the biggest thing is to talk about how much you play games like that already, how much your community enjoys games like that already, and why you want to play that game. I wouldn't just say, "Hey, again, I have 5 viewers on Twitch, please send me key." Give them a reason to send you a key that you would, if you wouldn't buy the game yourself, don't ask them for a free one.
Right, absolutely. And actually, that reminds me of a good point too. Is like it never hurts to send an email to see what happens. Don't pester people with the same thing every week and expect to get anywhere. That could actually cause damage. But sending a one-off email and saying, "Hey, I'm kind of interested in this game. I stream on Twitch," even if it's not perfect, it never hurts just to send an email and see what happens. So I think
Yeah,
that's
it's
smart as
always a
well.
no if you don't ask.
Yeah, exactly. But Azumatt, Velok, have you guys tried to work with developers on things before? Game keys or maybe events, things like that?
Not really too much for me. The games that I play, like the developers won't care about me because I'm not like Tim the Tatman or Ninja or anything like that. So I kind of know my limits, you know. Like if I was playing a little bit like the games with the smaller viewer counts on Twitch, maybe. But I know that EA isn't going to care about Velloc_TV because
Not with that attitude.
yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
I guess.
Go big.
Yeah, exactly. Azumatt, any experience there?
Honestly, just terminals, the
Okay.
website terminals. Reaching out to developers there, trying to get the keys with them. Also, finding games that are interesting. One game I've recently stumbled upon is another, surprisingly, battle royale game.
What?
It's called Spellbreak.
Whoa.
Oh, that does look cool.
And I
actually.
looked into that and I've signed up for it. And this particular one, it's only an alpha. So once if they accept you, you go under a non-disclosure. So you can't really say anything about it. You can't do anything about it other than like what they release themselves. So trying to reach out to companies, like if you stumble upon an information or anything on the internet, like you could probably Google it and search things, but just find some things that interest you as far as alphas, like stuff that are kind of up and coming, and that's usually the developers that are looking for smaller people or people in general to play their content and kind of give feedback and whatever. And then who knows, maybe because you've been there since the beginning, super long shot, definitely not guaranteed, you might be the new ninja of whatever that game is. And you could be, instant partner with the game. Not saying partner on Twitch, but I'm saying like partner with the game itself. Kind of like, people have Warframe partners and whatnot.
Right.
So like you can kind of get your foot into the back door. So I do recommend trying to find games that are in alpha.
Right.
Reach out to developers in that sense. Reach out to the smaller ones, not necessarily developers that are creating something that's already in beta. Try to go for like alphas,
Right.
pre-alphas and stuff like that.
Yeah, getting at the ground level with what people call the first movers advantage is really big.
Mhm.
If you can be there when the game is just starting, even I would argue honestly, even with Apex, I know it's super popular, but because it's so new, there's a lot of opportunity to kind of build a brand around it. Since there's no one that's an expert in Apex yet. It came out a week ago, so you don't have to fight with people who've been on that game for 5 years. Like if Destiny 3 comes out next week, good luck trying to beat the people who've been there since 2005 or whatever. But Apex came out a week ago. So whether it's Twitch stuff or making YouTube content, that stuff's great when a game is just coming out. And so working with developers is the same thing. If you can be the first one to kind of reach out to a developer when they're getting started, then they're more likely to work with you as opposed to a year down the road when they've had 10 million requests and you're just another number there. So that's a good point, for sure. We have Spartan, I think, is almost ready to come on the call. He said he's getting ready. So Spartan, just let me know when you're ready and we'll add you. He had a question in the chat, but I think that's probably what he's going to ask, so I'll wait on that. I the Night, I think, asked a sarcastic question, but I can't really tell. He said, any advice for someone who is your #1 most viewed streamer if they are out there? I don't actually understand that question, but I think it was sarcastic. So if you would explain that a little bit more, I can try and answer it. Again, don't know if it's real or not, but yeah, let me know. And Spartan, again, whenever you're ready, just let us know, my dude.
Twinkie Talks asks, is there a way to find games in alpha and pre-alpha? I came across Spellbreak just honestly through happenstance of somebody that kind of found it and stumbled upon it. Word of mouth is a really good way to find things like that, especially if you tell people that's what you're looking for, and you'll be surprised. But a lot of developers and stuff tend to have like Discords or like websites or something that you can search for it. So just Google search it, try to find it, do what you can. I do recommend trying to go into not necessarily dead categories on Twitch, but like searching for new, like recently added games and stuff like that, because usually that is something that they're thinking about adding, maybe have already fully added, that might be in a beta that you can potentially stream and look at. But I found there's no real way, in my opinion, to find like alphas and pre-alphas and developers that are doing it. It's more or less word of mouth and 100% chance. But there are websites like terminals.io and stuff like that that can help you find those, but it's not guaranteed.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, we actually have a little chat in our Discord for alphas and betas that got posted. 'Cause I don't know a whole lot of like great all-in-one things out there, so you kind of have to do some digging. But someone mentioned in chat, by the way, messaging devs on Twitter. Also agree with that, especially if it's a new game, because they'll be very responsive a lot of times to that. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So
like Mima
Spartan
said to follow devs. You could also, one that's a little different, you could try Reddit. There's like an indie game or an indie dev subreddit, and people will post their alpha footage there, or on even just the big gaming subreddit, they'll say, I put out my first game today ever. Here's, opening footage of it. And that's a good place to PM that person and say like, hey, I just saw this. I think it's a game I'd love. I stream on Twitch. Let's talk.
Yeah.
And it's not something I think a lot of people use.
For sure. It's a good point as well. All right, so we got Spartan BL is ready to call into the show. So we'll get that transition screen up here in a sec and pull him in here. Just 1 sec.
Reddit is a good source.
Spartan. Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Here, let me stream.
Move some stuff around there.
Now I can actually hear people.
Okay, good. Well, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, so I'm gonna steal one of the questions I did type in chat earlier. So pretty much what the question was, there are different, interactive games you can play with, your viewers and stuff. I mean, I guess what my question is like, what do you guys, what would you guys choose? Would you do like a game that supported 100 players at once, if you have that many viewers? Would you want it to be like quick little games that, it's just a couple minutes per game and could be played by the chat? or do you want to use a game like something like Jackbox, where it's more everyone has to be fully involved?
Okay, so kind of like, what's the best type of game to play with your viewers if you had the pick?
True. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I have thoughts on this, but so do you guys, Azumatt, MPI, Velok, do you guys do a lot of your games on your channel?
Yeah, I mean, occasionally
I
I'll
for,
do
like,
some.
celebrations, but
Okay, Vel, like, what's your kind of process of picking a game to do that with, and how do you navigate that process?
It depends on how many people want to play. So if it's more than like 3 or 4, then I stay away from Fortnite or anything like that. Usually, what I'll do is something like Golf with Your Friends or Golf It. Those go really, really well for playing with your viewers, just because like the crazy things that can happen. Like a lot of funny moments will happen because you can like shoot someone's ball out of the way, so like it messes up their shot. You can do a lot of funny things, and it's really cheap or really fast download and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've personally played golf with your friends before, and that'd be pretty awesome. Is
Yeah.
on stream. I never even thought about something like that.
Good idea.
Mhm.
Azumatt, MPI, do you guys do a lot of your games, or you kind of stick to your own thing?
well, I'll take it since the viewer games that I do, I try to kind of make community nights like a bigger thing, so I don't do them as frequently. And I'll try to tell people about them ahead of time. But one game that Spartan and I have actually played together is Marbles on stream. It's automated, so like you can they sign in and whatever, and like the ball, it's chance. So it put games like that put a lot of emphasis on the streamer. So make sure that if you're doing Marbles on stream in particular, that you are kind of hyping yourself up and like you're in a good mood, because that is a game that, again, it's automated, so it's not like 100% competitive or funny or super engaging or anything like that. It's kind of up to the streamer to do the commentary on it. But then you have like games like Jackbox Party Pack, where they're very interactive with your chat, and like they can go in there, they can be trolly, they can be nice, they can say something funny, whatever, and it kind of keeps everybody engaged. So I would find kind of a choice between the two. Is whether you want to be the commentator and you want to leave it kind of all on you for games similar to Marbles on stream, or something like Jackbox Party Pack, maybe Cards Against Humanity, or I don't even remember the name of this game, but it's the one where people can interact with you, and you're playing as like little bots riding around.
Oh, Clone Drone.
Clone Drone.
Yeah.
So like, and that's also slightly different. So that's a more interactive type thing, but it's also slightly automated, because they can go in there and like click a button and watch it happen,
Right.
and control. They don't necessarily control what's going on, but they can mess with you. So it's a little bit of both as far as commentary and viewer interaction. So there's options out there, and I do believe that that's kind of something that's growing.
Yeah. So what do you lean towards of all the different types then?
Of all the different types, honestly, I lean towards 100% viewer interaction. Not necessarily like Clone Drone. I go for the one that actually really keeps people engaged, because those are more genuine moments. Not necessarily somebody sitting at their computer going, "Oh, this is fun." "Oh, wait a minute, something cool happened. Let me click. Let me mess with him." And it's more like, oh, they got to be at their computer, or they got to use their controller and kind of be really active. And personally, for me, that brings a different energy. So I prefer those.
Gotcha. Cool. MPI, how about you, man?
Kind of like Veli said, it depends on how many people I have that want to play. If it's Thursday nights are a nighttime stream that I do, and typically we have a few people that want to play games on Thursday nights. So a lot of times that's a night where we play like Dead by Daylight or something where we can get a small party together and go into a lobby together. If it's something like I do sub Sundays, if it's something like that, I usually stick with more like the Jackbox games, or games where I can get more people in at once if possible, or I have to make sure that we rotate people a lot. But with the Jackbox games, I'm a little bit careful with them. Like I send the room codes privately to people. I turn off the room code, or I'll even turn off this like the game screen entirely, and I stick it in the subs channel in my Discord, or send it to the person who wants it privately, because it's Twitch. There's too many trolls out there to risk it.
Yeah, makes sense.
You're gonna get someone who wants to come in and make the joke that's not acceptable or doesn't fit the community or is just a racist joke or a sexual joke of some kind. It's like, hey man, no, get out. I'm not dealing with it.
Right.
Right,
So
absolutely.
it's a hard line to walk. I think it depends on your community and what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I think it kind of depends. The number of people you're playing with will kind of impact what you're gonna do with that stream. So basically, like if you're playing with a small amount of people, but they're very involved in what you're doing, then you're really building close relationships with those people, but maybe not with the rest of the people who are watching or can't play. So like if you're doing a Fortnite squad or something, or something else with like maybe 4 or 5 people, then you're building really good relationships with those people and investing in them at the expense of everyone else, which is okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Whereas with something with marbles, with like maybe 100 people who are all kind of involved but not like super really into it, that's more of like you're bringing in more people and helping everyone be somewhat involved, but not really going super deep on any one person.
Right.
So I think it's just finding that mixture that matters, I would say. Yeah, so I'm doing all the gang signs, chat. I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, as they said earlier, it's a shot for everyone. So if somebody wants to put a counter up, like we should just
start chugging.
Yep. Just get
So I think we have Azumats like this or something like that.
Wait, what? What is this?
Wait,
Like
oh, that's
this.
his gang
This
sign.
is your gang sign.
Oh yeah.
That's Azumatt.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
You gotta do the G. So I don't know. All right, Spartan. Well, anything else you want to add on here?
No, I think that was a good question to ask, and I definitely think I've seen some new angles to the viewer interaction. So I definitely want to thank you guys for that, and hope everyone has a good day. I may have another question pop up in my brain, but I think we're good on this question. We've kind of beat it to death.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it.
All right, bye.
See you, man.
All right. Well, actually, it is already 12:55, which is kind of nuts. I feel like this
crazy.
flew by today.
That went by very fast.
Yeah, really quick. So I don't think I missed any questions here in the chat that I'd seen. So I guess we'll go ahead and start winding it down for now. So I'll start off with Velok. Anything you want to say to people who watched today, things they can check out, links to plug, etc.?
Thank you guys for watching and hanging out and asking. I'm really glad that it's back to phone in Friday. I really call in and ask. I did miss that aspect a lot. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. Thank you guys for everything and hanging out with us. And yeah, I'll be on live after this.
Woo.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and it's really, we're excited to have the callers back on. We're doing this from here on out, basically. Still kind of playing around with, having you guys on the screen, which is pretty cool, and different ideas. So if you guys liked it, if you have suggestions, let us know. We're very open to adapting it based on that. MPI, anything you want to plug or just things to share before we sign off here?
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. It was a blast. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 hours, so it's awesome.
That's
yeah,
when you know you have the right stuff you're streaming, right? When it goes by real
exactly,
fast.
when it just flies by.
Yep.
But yeah, you guys can find me everywhere, like it says there, Mr. Pure Instinct. I stream Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Cool. Sounds good. Go check them out, guys. Links are on the screen if you can see them. Hopefully someone can post them in chat too. That'd be awesome. Azumatt, anything you want to share? Thanks for coming all the way over here, by the way, from
no problem.
your drive.
Yeah, it's really cool to actually be in here. Highly recommend, somebody eventually come down here and do this again. But the only thing that I really want to plug and say is if you guys are interested in coding streams, wanting to learn any kind of development, software development, anything like that, I'm going to be uploading things to YouTube with those. And I do play games two days a week and code 2 days a week. Mondays and Thursdays are games, and Wednesdays and Fridays are coding. Every single one of those times is 11 p.m. Eastern to about 2 a.m. Usually it goes over, to be honest. But check me out on all the things, and that's pretty much it.
Cool stuff, man. Again, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
And yeah, guys, that'll do it for us for today for StreamKey. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back maybe next week. We have the PC build bonanza next week with 8 PCs. So depending on when that ends, we might do this again next Friday out of here. Stay tuned on that. But again, if you enjoyed this is everywhere on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, everything. I'll drop the link in the chat for Spotify if you want to go check out. Guys, we're really close to 100 episodes. This is episode 91, which is crazy. So we got to do something big for 100.
Nice.
But yeah, the stream key. So thanks for coming out, guys. We will see you soon. Have a good one.